And
Now
we are
live.
live.
Okay. Whew, welcome, welcome, beautiful ladies, for our webinar with amazing Monika Dulian. I don't know, I have two open screens here. I hope I can see that people are tuning in and asking questions. Hopefully things will start popping up. As
Yes.
always, we will give those couple of seconds of, time for everyone to tune in, because there are always some delays. Before we get into introducing, I see now, and there is already somebody. Awesome. Awesome. So we are live on the website too, everywhere. So welcome one more time. Today we have Monika Dulian in the house. I am so happy she accepted my invite to come here to our little tiny group to talk about a huge topic, which we will hopefully cover at least in some level during this upcoming 1 hour. The topic about illnesses. I always have problems saying that another word, alignments.
Ailments.
Yes.
I know it took me some time to learn it.
Yes, and trauma, and of course, healing modality that she's going to talk. She's using in her own practice that is just simply amazing. But you will hear from her. So welcome, Monika, and please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you are from, not like really country, but maybe which planet are you from, and what are you doing in your life right now?
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, for paying attention. Izabela, thank you for inviting me. My name is Monika Dulian, and I am a healing facilitator. So what I do is I create a specific container for people. Most of my clients are women, where they can really explore the psychosomatic root causes of the problems, ailments, and diseases, like the body problems. And I am in my practice, what I am combining is the knowledge of functional medicine. I am a certified functional medicine coach. It's a mouthful. And I am also combining a beautiful self-healing modality called Metaphysical Anatomy. And what's so amazing about this combination, especially about adding a metaphysical anatomy, is that I know that most of you watching this already know, you have a gut feeling that there is so much more to physical problems, health, and wellness than just exercising, eating right, and going to sleep at sunset. We already are feeling this in our body, that relationships, our emotional landscape day to day, and many times what we bring with us here now today from our past, our childhood, and even our ancestral values, the traumas, the stress that our ancestors went through. Think about people who went through famine or war, and now today unconsciously are hoarding food or eating everything that is on a plate, thinking that there will not be more tomorrow. Those little glimpses of thoughts that you might have, even though they don't make logical sense, there is emotion behind it, and there is some incomplete trauma cycle. There was stress. There was no resolution to this stress. And what we do, we carry that with us throughout our lives. And that is influencing our mindset, our belief system, our values. What is it that we believe we are actually worthy of? And all of that creates choices that then either improve or hinder our wellness. And our physical body is also responding to that non-physical layer of our being, which is that's why it's called metaphysical, beyond physical.
All right, Monika. Yeah, I would like to dive definitely deeper into that technique, because in this group I have women who are interested and even were asking me, and I was like, just give me a second, I will invite specialists and we will talk about this. But before we dive into what exactly the technique is, how does it work, and actually even how what is actually trauma, what are those instincts, emotions, and why this technique really works the way it works. I would like you to briefly tell us, how did you get to this point where you are at? I know always hearing some stories of people who are right now in the moment where they are at is really inspirational and motivational, at least for me, because it gives me that reassurance that nothing wrong with me, that all those healers, light workers, beautiful, inspiring people, they've been in some, at some point of their life in some kind of shithole.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how did you get to where you are right now at?
So my story began before I was born. I was still in my mom's womb when the Chernobyl disaster happened. And during that time, women were given huge amounts of iodine to counteract the radioactive cloud that was hovering over the part of the country that I was in. I am originally from south side of Poland. And that's what influenced my thyroid. I have an autoimmune disease of the thyroid because of that. And when I started healing that through conventional medicine, that was not enough. Then I discovered functional medicine, and that was still not enough. Even though it improved greatly, my health improved greatly, there was still something missing. And what happened is that I had a moment in my life where everything was just clean slate. My long-term partner left. A lot of my friends cut ties because we were not sharing the same values anymore. And at the same time, I was also let go from my work. So when I had nothing else to lose, nothing else, I went into the deepest hole in my life from which I had to climb out myself. And this is what I felt at the beginning, but what helped me is completely feeling like I am giving up on myself, on my life. And I had this experience of being there with someone in that room when I was crying. Almost like there's this protective energy over me. And what started happening is that I started exploring that because I started remembering all of a sudden that I had very vivid imagination. And I started learning that imagination is actually my intuition, that I already had a lot of these channels open. Like a lot of us have it, but it's so suppressed because of societal values that we don't connect to it. And as I started digging and learning and exploring, I discovered metaphysical anatomy. And the author of Metaphysical Anatomy and the book itself, the huge book, Everett
We
Rose.
call it big book, huh?
Yes, we call it the big book. It's 679 ailments and descriptions of the psychosomatic root causes behind them. Now, knowing this is not going to change anything. It's the implementation of it and using the actual technique to dig deep, find the root cause and heal it at the source without needing to know exactly what it is, without needing to connect to the memories, and also without needing to relive it. So you do not have to have a full-blown cathartic experience somewhere in the jungles of Peru taking ayahuasca. You can really heal by yourself using your body's wisdom and using your own intention and presence with those parts that really need your presence, loving, and acceptance.
Yeah. You mentioned something about being down and going up, and I remember when my mom told me, oh my gosh, you are at the lowest rock bottom you could ever be, in a judgmental way. But I remember my answer to her was like, okay, that's amazing because there is no other way but up. So this became my motto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now I would like you to tell us, what is that MAT practice? What is that metaphysical anatomy technique? Or let's maybe start slowly about combining and explaining what is trauma, instincts, emotions, how those together fire together and wire together, your favorite saying. And then the trauma is created or it happens, not really create, it happens, and then how metaphysical anatomy technique actually helps to release those emotions around it without even knowing. What is amazing about that technique, you don't need to know the event that happens. You don't need to memorize anything. You don't need to go back to those memories, right? You don't need to re-traumatize yourself back again in order to heal. That's what amazing, because many of us, we go to that talk therapies, right? And the therapist is digesting. Do you remember? Do you remember? And then it just, many of us can get just re-traumatized. So how, let's dive into talking about this.
Beautiful. I am so glad that you asked about it, because in the self-help community, the idea of dissociating yourself from the problem or numbing yourself enough so you can kind of sort of put it behind you, but not really, is encouraged instead of really going to the root and healing. There is a huge difference there. And I am going to now explain it. So trauma,
There is
when we
thing
think,
called bypassing, right? It's also the
yes,
word bypassing, like over.
exactly. Yes, I am going to sit in front of the mirror and tell myself I love myself every morning. Yay! Even though I feel in my gut that I am completely hating my guts, I'm completely not agreeing with myself, and I am so resentful of my past, for example, right?
This is how I started my journey. That was one of the first thing. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't work. It has to be different way. And it just didn't work. Like 10 times in front of the mirror, I love myself and I deeply hated myself. How, and I'm like, how is that going to work? How am I going to rewrite that story? Yeah, I know that. I've been there too. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So when we are thinking about trauma, a lot of us are thinking about big events, about divorce and moving from place to place, losing everything in a fire, I don't know, being attacked. But what trauma is the after effect of unresolved stress. And unresolved stress can be anything. It can be me losing my phone and really believing that all of my belongings and half my life is lost with it. It can be almost missing a car accident. Someone just brushes right next to you. For children, many times what it is being put in timeout. When a child is in distress, doesn't know how to deal with emotions, it's being a brat. Okay, it's not behaving. What many times parents are doing is putting the child in timeout. And that separation, that rejection, that abandonment is traumatizing, because not only the child doesn't know what's going on, it's also being punished for something that it didn't have resources to deal with. And the after effects in the body, when the stress is not resolved, what kicks in is instincts. And I'm so glad that you brought the connection of emotions and instincts, because they're like buddies, and they're always together. Whenever we are feeling a uncomfortable emotion, there is a body instinct that wants to get us to safety. So let's say I'm feeling humiliated and I have an instinct to hide, and it's an impulse. It's not something that I'm thinking about, that not something that I can choose. My body takes over. When, let's say, I feel attacked, I might have an instinct to attack back or run away. When, let's say, I feel exposed, that also makes me feel disgusted. And I have vomit instinct come up. There are some other instincts that, specifically in metaphysical anatomy language, because when you Google instincts, you might have fight, flight, or freeze. There's also instinct to become numb yourself so the pain is not there. Almost like when a dentist is really working something in your mouth and it's just so much digging that you all of a sudden become numb to it. Or when you are eating those hot Cheetos and your tongue is like, I can't take it anymore. It's not, you can't even taste it. That's the numb instinct. Freezing, just becoming unmovable. Standing almost like in a frozen in shock, wanting to run away, hiding, fighting, vomiting. And there is also an instinct to surrender. When things are just so much and there is a part of you that knows that you cannot get out of this safely, Look at the animal kingdom. Some of the animals, when they're being chased or attacked, they just surrender. They're not frozen, stiff. They just let go and let life take them. And that part of the animal brain we still have, it's the deepest part of our brain, so-called reptilian brain, and it works with the limbic system, which is the second layer of our brain coming from the inside, and they're always together. So with each negative emotion you have, or uncomfortable emotion, because I don't really believe that they're negative, they're uncomfortable.
Stressful, yeah.
Exactly. There is an instinct that kicks in. So what happens later in life? Boom, you were a child and you were yelled at, you felt attacked, and you wanted to hide, so you got under the table, okay,
Yeah.
looking for safety from that attack. And now in your adult life, because it worked in the past, got you to safety, there is a wire crossed in your brain. And it's always
Mhm.
going to fire this way. When you feel attacked again, you're going to have this need to hide. So now, being an adult, your boss is yelling at you.
And
Okay, you
you're
feel
going to the bathroom.
exactly. So what you want to do, you want to run away. But as an adult, can you imagine running away from your boss when he's yelling at you or she's yelling at you? We can't do that because we have these societal values where boss is way above you. You better listen. You better sit down and listen to all of that, right? We don't listen to this need to hide, and we sit through it. You
Yeah.
see, those instincts that were not act upon, that energy has to go somewhere. And that instinct is going to be an override until you let your body complete that cycle, until you act on exactly on that bodily impulse.
Yeah.
Through crying, through swearing, that really helps when you have a stop fight instinct, punching things like stuffed pillows at home, shaking. Sometimes body will just go into shaking. Anxiety, anyone, right? We medicate it away. And those little shakes when we are nervous, that's the trauma trying to complete itself. Same with body temperatures and
Chills.
crying.
Yeah. Sweat.
Shivers and crying is so big.
Yeah.
And now think about those poor men in our Western society. Don't be, right? You
Yeah.
cannot cry. You're not a girl. We are telling them since they were little boys that they cannot experience their emotions. And all that anger that is behind this, that feeling of powerlessness, hopelessness, that is actually on the bottom of anger, because anger is actually a symptom of some deeper emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where is that going to go? It goes into your physical body in form of pain. It goes onto your skin in form of pimples. It goes into other tissues in your body in form of inflammation. From that, just imagine what the chronic inflammation does. A whole array of autoimmune conditions, right? When we think about, let's go dive deep into, for example, cancer. It all depends which part of the body is affected. But cancer in of itself, one of the underlying tones is resentment. Thinking that you made mistakes in life, thinking that you should have done something differently back then and wanting to change it. Feeling resentful of not taking on opportunities at the moment when they were presented to you and now they're gone.
Yeah.
Now, all of that, those emotions that I described, they don't even have to be yours. Your parents and grandparents and ancestors can pass it down to you through your DNA because of something called epigenetics, which is how the body and how the DNA reacts to the environment.
Yeah.
The environment.
Switch on and off. Yeah.
Exactly. And that environment is your perception of your environment, actually, whether or not it's safe. What feels safe to you might not feel safe to me. That's why all people going through the same stress will not develop the same conditions because all of that has to be filtered through their perception.
Yeah, their own. When you say complete, just for those who are watching, what we mean by complete trauma is basically release it. Let the body release it in a natural way, just like wild animals, right? Running away from the predator. Eventually, they will get to the safe space and they will shiver out to release everything what was, like that higher level of adrenaline, cortisol, everything what accumulated in every single cell of their bodies. Now they need to release it.
Yeah, exactly.
To move on into their life and to be ready for another attack, possibly, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and we as humans, we kind of developed successfully, unfortunately, a lot of tools to not finish that cycle. We numb, we medicate, like anxiety you mentioned, or panics attacks to me. I remember my last panic attack was so weird because I was already so aware of all situations that the first thing my body started doing was walking around the house back and forth in the living room and breathing and shaking. And I didn't know that my body is actually releasing it. And afterwards, I sat down. I'm like, okay, my heart is better. I'm fine. What was that? Right? And now I know what was that. It was my body releasing something. What triggered me, I didn't even know what was then. So this is what we mean by completing trauma, releasing. Yeah. You were talking about all those inflammatory, diseases. Cancer is kind of really ultimate thing, but many of the ones which we are dealing also daily with is arthritis, thyroid problems, right? Joints pains that are also autoimmune disease, any type of what other autoimmune disease? I know that Hashimoto thyroid, which you are with.
Ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, alopecia when your hair is falling out, even sometimes eyesight. And now medicine is moving towards believing that the coronary disease, the heart disease, is actually autoimmune. Wow. So the heart attack and the heart problems are coming from that autoimmune response as well. We can have autoimmune conditions of the heart, and heart diseases are the leading cause of death worldwide.
Yeah. So that's scary, of course, right? But we have the MAT technique, and we have many more modalities, obviously, right? But we are talking here about MAT technique. So let's dive deeper now into what is that technique and how this technique can help somebody release some of those illnesses, because it's like, wait a minute, how is that illness, emotions, all these things together, right? So let's put these things together now.
Yes. So what I love about MAT, Metaphysical Anatomy Technique, is that you can talk to your body and ask these questions and your body will let you know. And for those of you who are watching right now, I would love for you to start opening yourself up to the idea that your imagination is your intuition. So when we are imagining how a certain condition, let's go right now with psoriasis, an autoimmune condition of the skin, going to those spots on the body where the psoriasis is, many times it's on the elbows, talking to the cells there. How are you feeling? If there was an emotion that you could express to me right now, if I give you a voice, what would it be? It would be this. Okay, how does my body react when I'm feeling this emotion? Like that. And then what we do, and when you're having a session with a practitioner like myself or Izabela, a practitioner's job is to guide you to find these emotions. Maybe they're somewhere else in the body. Maybe they're outside of the body, which are telling us that this is actually an echo, almost like an imprint of people that were in our life that we came close with. We pick up their emotions, and their patterns are our own, especially in moment of stress when we are so open and vulnerable. So what we then do, a practitioner will guide you through a very gentle visualization meditation that is backed by your and practitioner's intention, meaning giving the energy a certain specific goal. And what I mean by energy is your ability to focus a specific visualization. I teach that during the course because I teach this modality as well. And it is your presence, actually finding these emotions, allowing yourself to see, for example, anger towards parents, resentment towards your children, let's say feeling hurt and abandoned by someone who was really close to you in life, your grandmother, for example, if that's the case. And many times what we do, we don't even allow ourselves to feel these emotions, especially towards people that our safety was relying upon, because we just can't. There is an unwritten rule that you cannot feel this way towards people you love. And what then is formed in our brain is that love means transaction. Love means I have to suppress parts of myself to be accepted. Love means some form of abuse, energetic, emotional, financial abuse. Love means I am not safe being myself. I have to earn it.
Or
And
pretend to be someone else. Yeah.
exactly, pretend that you're someone else. And you see how your authentic self is not okay with that. And how then it creates a split within yourself, and there's this internal conflict. We want love in our life, we want companionship, but there is programming either from our life or the life in our when we were during in our mom's womb, or coming from her life that is passed down to us. We are so incredibly connected that now we are looking for love, and we are finding love that is manipulative, love that is using us, love that is actually feeling like corruption, a transaction that I cannot be angry because I'm going to lose love, and we have to earn it, right? And it's the same with money, it's the same with wellness, it's the same with positive body image, it's the same with friendships, it's the same with your relationship to life force, God, universe, depending on what your philosophy is. And all of that is specifically the first blueprint for it is formed during womb stages when we are receiving from our mother, which is the universe, to us. What is she giving us, and what kind of emotional
She was.
shifts exactly, or hormonal changes she had when we were receiving from her, what we felt. And we are swimming in waters when we are little babies, right? And water is a conductor. Like it beautifully transmits so much, not only vibration and sound, but also energy, which emotion really is. It's emotion, energy and motion. So that's what we have our first blueprints, and our brains are not developed to translate that. It's basically just like programming a computer program, putting it on a disk, and this is the disk that you're going to be born with. Go ahead and have fun in your life. So since the beginning, since being born, we are having some of those not really supportive programs that we are running on.
Yeah. So MAT technique definitely can work on finding that psychosomatic root causes of some illnesses, but it definitely is very helpful. Like I know for me myself to work on also those programming and conditioning, like why don't I trust myself? Why don't I feel confident? Why do I have my body image issues, right? Why do I have like issues with receiving money? Why do I have issues with asking for help? How asking for help makes me feel? Where is this coming from, right? What instinct am I getting? As soon as I think about asking for help, okay, I better go and run away back to my room, right? Okay, so how can I resolve those? So a lot of MAT sessions can be around those things, right? To start with small things, because sometimes going to big disease may be really a lot for the body. I like that MAT is really like peeling off those layers of the onion.
Yes.
And you mentioned that your body will tell you everything. I strongly believe, and those who are listening to me and are in my group, I keep reminding nonstop. I believe our bodies are the wisest teachers ever. Like no coach on this planet will be better and wiser than your own body. We just need to tune in. And that's the problem. We are not tuned in and we have problem listening. So MAT technique is really bringing the client or the person in a state of relaxation, right? And where the person can literally start diving into and listening to those little nudges. And those little nudges are the best directions to sometimes peel off the layers that you would never peel off being at regular talk therapy, right? Because your body would block, actually not body, your ego would block it away. Ego meaning brain. Yeah. So that's amazing. Since we went to that ego and brain and body, could you tell us a little bit about how that is connected or disconnected? Because I know this is also some kind of topic that people have hard time understanding. What are you talking about my body? What is about my ego? A lot of us are operating from that logical point of view. And I try to also teach that no, many of the things are recorded, just like that hard drive you said, in our every single cell of our body. And ego is literally the last to be awakened, to be aware what's going on. So maybe tell us a little bit about that. Yeah, mind, body, disconnection, like I always say.
This is what I find sometimes difficult to convey to people because it's literally contradicting what I thought and they believed about their mind and their ego, their everything. Your body is your mind. And when we think about mind, we think about our ability to form thoughts. And by thoughts, so many of us believe is our ability to use language and logic. And this has nothing to do with the truth. This is just how we gain control of that. Our mind is everything. It's our physical body because it's the densest expression of the mind. And by thoughts, we have to start opening up to the idea that thoughts are not only about language and logic. It's not only about words or images. So when we are diving into the mind and how mind influences the body, emotions are part of the mind and also emotions are part of your physical body. The emotions are felt in the body and then are generated in the body. Now going to the ego that we are discussing earlier, ego is part of your biology. It's your biological makeup. And ego's role is to keep you safe. And ego does it by creating those escape mechanisms and schemes where you are raising to the top, almost like cork from the bottom of the ocean, where you are the one who is right, where you are the one who is better than everybody else. And that is because our most inner core fear that we have, which is exclusion from our tribe. And if our tribe can include us by valuing us, seeing us as valuable, as good, as somehow righteous or rightful, then we are included and our safety is guaranteed. This is so primal, and this is going back to animal kingdom. I'm not saying that animals have egos, but that development of I have to be included and I will do anything to be included is coming from the animal kingdom. And we have, as I discussed earlier, the parts of the brain that are taking care of that. Humans' ego also, through our eons, has developed into who we identify ourselves to be. So instead of seeing ego as part of us, we see it as the whole of us. And now ego is now judging emotions that we feel in our life. Those uncomfortable emotions that cause us pain, they're not good. That's why they're called negative. There's nothing negative about them. They're just feedback, but we judge them as negative. So in order to survive and put everything into alignment, your body, so it's supporting your healing, not so you are working against it. Your ego and your mind, all of those expressions. Number one, we have to slow down. Sometimes it's difficult to do when we are in the moment and we are enraged or super fearful. So we are teaching awesome breathing techniques to help you bring yourself to that state of calmness. But once we are slowing down, paying attention to what's going on, what is starting to happen, and many times people will catch it very quickly. Sometimes they need a little prompt. We become observers. And if you are observing yourself, then who is doing the observing, and who is the self. This is how your spiritual development starts. Really seeing that you can have different points of perspective at the same time. This is amazing, guys. And what the body does when your conscious awareness goes offline, you go to sleep or you are in a coma, a lot of our physical problems will start going away. Some of them, they're still there because there's part of you that is still holding on to the perceived safety of an ailment. But body image issues go away. Problems with diet, starving yourself, and overeating go away. Self-sabotage goes away, right? When we are offline, when we don't have the ability or the craving to make everything all right. Why we want to make everything all right? Because we feel uncomfortable, we feel resentful. So now I'm going to show you, I'm going to work my ass off by depleting my adrenals, by messing up my hormones, but not going to sleep on time because I'm going to prove you right. Right? The drive and the ambition, notice if it's coming from a place of I deserve the best in my life. I have nothing to prove. I'm just going to go after what I know is already there for me. Or I am going to, like the plow working through a field of mud, just like going through it with force. Which one is going to be then seen by your physical body as safe? So ambition, many times, look what it's coming from a place of like having to prove and fight and prove everybody right? Or is it coming from a place of I deserve it? Not that I deserve it because I never had it, so give me that, it's mine, I deserve it. That I deserve it, so do you. And so that's the person, this person deserves the best in their lives. And slowly, as you mentioned before, peeling the layers. So we are gaining the emotional and mental stamina to deal with some of the more deeper stuff, some of the stuff that is maybe we did not have energy or even mental capacity to look at from perspective, from a distance. So without judgment, we can see, there's part of me that wants to hurt people because through that I connect, because I want others to feel my pain because I was never seen. Some of us have that in us, a lot of us. The part of you that is narcissistic and wants to prove everybody wrong, and I am better than you because you might have been put down so many times and undermined, and your value has been taken away by society, by your parents, by your siblings, by your lovers. We all have those parts in us, the parts that want to hurt others, the parts that want revenge. And this is where the real healing needs to happen. It's good to work with feeling of alone, of feeling helpless, those in the bubble of victimhood. But there is also the bubble of being the perpetrator. And a lot of modalities don't even want to go there, especially because everything is love and light and you can just kiss it goodbye. No. Some shadow work and feeling those emotions has to be there. Guys, we are both dark and light, yin and yang, feminine and masculine. And the sooner we're going to be allowing this to be a truth in our life, the less pain, your physical, mental, emotional pain you're going to have in your life.
Yeah. It's really what came to me right now is to emphasize to all of the women listening that your body, and that's really true, your body will handle what's given to it. So whatever is given to it, it will handle. If something is too hard, too heavy, too painful to peel off, to dig into it, your body will block it, at least for a moment. That's why we're talking about this peeling of the layer. You cannot get to the deeper layer without peeling off the outer layers. So the same body behaves. And during that MAT technique is exactly, we communicate with the body, and whatever your body will allow to come up, it is safe. It will feel safe to do it. And whatever is not ready yet to release, it will hold onto it. And that's also okay. It
Mhm.
may be time when you will be ready for it. Right. So this is also something what I experience also, that there are also those phases in the healing. Like we are peeling these layers. It's hard. It's hard. My gosh, all these traumas showing up. Right. The moment we peel off, it suddenly is lighter. Wow, I'm doing so good. I peeled off so many of those layers. I healed that trauma. I healed that story. I forgave my father or another abuser or whoever was that. And then suddenly, boom, something again painful, deep, and then we have the feelings that we cannot handle it. You can handle it. You handled already something. You healed one part. You peeled off 3 layers. Now you are digging deeper. But that doesn't
Yes,
mean
exactly.
you will handle it. You are ready. You already got that little capacity, mental, emotional, to heal the other parts. And then eventually it will be again roller coaster, again hard, up the hill, and then suddenly lighter and again. So it is. I always say that there is always there is that common saying that the darkest time is before the sunset,
Mhm.
right? Before the things is.
Yes.
So it's, yeah. And you also mentioned about that bypassing. I love that bypassing. This is another thing what is kind of bugging me in today's world: self-improvements,
Mhm.
self-help and spirituality, that there is always like, we need to always go to that blissful feeling, because anger, stress, sadness, grief, shame are wrong and bad, and let's get rid of them. No, they are feedback, just like you said, just like you got notes and at the school, A, B, C, D, E, F,
Mhm.
or whatever there were. We had 1 to 5. I think here is D, E, F or something,
A
or
through
A,
F,
E,
yes. Mhm.
FDF, something like that. Anyway, they are feedbacks, right? They
Yeah.
are feedbacks. They are telling, okay, I feel sad.
Mhm.
It's nothing wrong with it. It's just indicating that there is something underneath, right? And again, something to peel off, something to tend to, something to acknowledge, something to give the space and love to feel it, to be with it, right? Yeah.
And I love that you are going, I already know you. I know you're working with emotions. I know that you are emotionally literate. A lot of people are saying, I am sad. You said, I feel sad.
Uh-huh.
I am
Yeah.
angry versus I feel angry, where we identify ourselves with the emotion that we are feeling. And for women, what I am also seeing is that many times they will say they feel something that it's not an emotion. I feel ugly. I feel fat. I feel stupid, right? Many times people are
Yeah.
saying these things and identifying themselves with those. Yeah, there is a sensation in the body that then we put into the Bible of ugly, fat, stupid, right? But this is not who you are, or also what you're feeling. What might be feeling underneath that is, I feel unlovable, I feel unaccepted, I feel unsafe to be seen. I really want connection with people. I want to feel in the flow versus I need to make more money. I want to have more friends and I have nothing to wear, right?
Yeah.
And women are in the very special corner of hell because of the body norms that are being put on us that are changing so fast also, and how wellness and medical industry adapts those body norms that are artificially created by, I think it's $68 billion a year industry. Can you imagine
And
68
all the
billion
organizations, yeah.
dollars? The diet and fitness industry that pumps into us the feeling of shame, and from that shame, we buy from them the solution. And that solution
And the
doesn't work. And
number
our
of it, yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
our bodies hate it. And then, what did I do wrong? I've been on this diet. My thyroid is bad. I burnt through my adrenals, and my bacterial flora in my gut is non-existent. I'm gaining like crazy because the body wants to recuperate. And what is it that women feel? Guilt and shame. And what is it that they do to remedy that? Another diet. That
Yeah.
is that corner of hell and isolation and self-hate. Whew, I've been there for over 2 decades and getting out of there. And the problems it creates, the physical problems with teeth, sight, skin, hair, internal organs, your relationships, your money, your business, everything. You know what you can do and be a real rebel? I'm going to really speak from my heart, middle finger to those people who told you how you need to look at, and coming back to yourself and you yourself giving the love that you want. Yes, there's part of you that feels a certain way, feels unlovable, and feels the need to be a perfectionist in order to receive it. But there is also a part of you that is opposite of it. Now,
Mhm.
with the use of metaphysical anatomy and parts integration, you can find healing, connection, and having these parts see each other. So the one that is really sabotaging you all the time, the one that really wants your happiness, your alignment, they can see eye to eye and come
Yeah,
together. This
yeah,
is one of the most beautiful work I have ever done or witnessed with other clients, that part integration.
yeah. I remember when I started working as a trainer, one of the during the interview and consultation with the clients, there is always that question: what is your goal? What are you looking for? And the first one is lose weight, right?
Mhm.
Or feel stronger. And again, that's not emotion. What will that give you? And I implemented, without even knowing MAT then yet, I implemented 8 questions why, meaning I was going 8 layers down. Okay, why losing weight is your goal, or what will you losing weight give you? What will that give you? Until we got how many women eventually burst into tears because at the level 5, 6, 7, there was, I don't feel confident. My husband doesn't love me. I want to be seen. Oh my gosh, it was heartbreaking because losing weight is nothing. It's not the actual need we have. There is so many things below. So that's really amazing. Yeah. MAT literally does that. That allows, by again giving, being, keeping you safe and giving you that relaxation moment in the safe environment with the practitioner and facilitator, you can dive deeper to actual reasons, right? What are you
Yes.
looking for, and what is missing in your body and in your life, what your heart really wants. And this is the moment when the true healing starts, because then you can start tending to yourself, giving that thing, not weight loss, but that thing, right? That worthiness,
Yes.
that care, that love, and working around that. So that's really, really, really deep. Yeah. Ladies, those who are watching, and there are a couple of you watching, if you have any questions, please shoot those questions in the comments. I'm refreshing page here non-stop. But in the meantime, I know Monika uh, offered us to do a little bit healing session, very short, which you could literally use even in the office space, giving yourself 5 minutes time for nervousness and worries and that anxiety type of feeling, right? Okay, you can tell us more what you were thinking, or maybe you change your mind and are offering something else.
I would love to do the anxiety healing. This is not for debilitating anxiety where you cannot get out of the house. With that, I really recommend working with a practitioner,
Yeah.
because I found that people many times will self-sabotage because it's too painful to start uncovering. But if you have this kind of anxiety where you have just so much to do today and you don't know where to even put your hands and your attention to, when your children want something, your husband wants something, and you get that email from the boss, or when you know that you're going to be presenting something to a group of people,
Mhm.
that anxiety that makes you feel nervous, that nervousness, that knot in the stomach, that feeling of a
Yeah.
little bit of shakiness inside,
Yeah.
or maybe before doing something big, making maybe, for me it's going to a dentist actually. A little bit of anxiety always
Yeah.
kicks in because I have to submit to something that is not pleasant, right?
Yeah.
When you have to, a lot of people, even when you're going to a doctor,
Yeah.
women going to a gynecologist, any of you are dreaming about it every day? No, we hate it.
Yeah.
And
Going to work every morning or Monday morning, right?
yes,
How many of us have
exactly.
anxiety around that?
Yes, opening up that bill from your credit card company. When you
Yeah.
feel that little bit of anxiety inside, this is
Yeah.
what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going
Okay,
to guide you through this.
before we dive in, I want to really tell you women, ladies who are watching, if because I'm refreshing page constantly. I'm hoping I can see your comments. I really would appreciate you at least send us some hearts or something so I also can see that the comment part works.
Yes,
If it
exactly.
doesn't work, please send me private message via Facebook, and I really have two, different windows open here, and I can see it also if you have any questions. But we both would appreciate some, at least one comment. At least tell us that you can hear us, because I know a couple of you are watching, because I'm refreshing page, but I don't know if the comment section doesn't work or you are simply just not commenting. So, okay, so that was a little bit logistic and technological and technical aspect. So now Monika and our healing
Well,
session.
today is full moon, so that in and of itself is causing some troubles and problems and some anxieties. So situate yourself comfortably, and this is going to take just a few minutes, okay? If you right now are feeling it, if not, just find any uncomfortable emotion you're feeling. This works great with anxiety, especially. Let's do it with eyes closed, okay? And if you cannot keep your eyes closed because of anxiety, maybe just soft gaze at a very neutral space in front of you. But very soon your eyes will close. Let's take just one deep breath in through our nose and out through the mouth. And with that exhale, drop the shoulders down. Close your eyes. Relax your jaw. If you need to force it, just force it open a little bit. And unglue your tongue from the top palate. Let it rest on the bottom and your bottom jaw. And relax your eyebrows. You can even touch them to help them relax. You see how much already changed? How much tension was there? Breathing normally, I would love for you to imagine that this anxiety you're feeling has a home somewhere in the body. For a lot of people, it's in the solar plexus area and the stomach, and maybe in your lower gut. A lot of people feel anxiety on their shoulders, almost like someone's watching. Maybe it's in your legs and you want to run away. If this anxiety or uncomfortable emotion had a home, where would it live? Maybe in two places. And what I'm going to invite you to do now is to pay attention to it. We're going to make it intentionally bigger. I know that is maybe counterintuitive, but pay attention to what is happening when you bring your attention to this uncomfortable place. Almost like letting it know, you know what, it's okay that you're here. There's a reason why you're here. Emotion. I am going to give you a space to be. For so long in my life, I have been taught to avoid you, but today I will pay attention. And now, with each and every breath, you will be almost imagining that this anxiety is blowing up like a balloon. We're going to be blowing it up and bigger and bigger. Taking breath in, making it a little bigger. And as it grows like a balloon, another breath in, and it gets even bigger. It becomes thinner, like that balloon, stretching, bringing more breath in. Maybe now it's the size of half your chest, or maybe big as the upper part of the body, or maybe lower. More breath. Ooh, maybe now it's the size of your body. Pay more attention to it by bringing in breath. Maybe now it's as big as half of your room. More breath. And maybe now it's filling your entire room. Let's see if we can make it as big as the house. Oh, it's so thin. It's almost see-through right now. One more breath. And maybe it's as big as your entire building that you live in, spilling onto the yard. And you will be bringing as much breath as it takes for your imagination to notice how it pops. Sometimes you have to blow it up to the size of your village, or maybe even county. Let's bring more breath in. Oh, it's very big and thin. One more breath. Maybe you don't even know how big it is. It's huge, but it's going to blow up any moment. One more breath. And one more. And I am at the edge. Ooh, for me it popped now. Maybe one more breath for those of you who still need more. Let it pop. And notice how all of that attention just all of a sudden, poof, went somewhere. Maybe in all of the directions around you. And tell me if you can now notice which part of the body now feels the old problem. I personally feel neutral in my body. Maybe some of you have a little bit left over. Bring your breath and bring your attention to that space where you feel it. Blow it up until it pops. And when you feel neutral, you can pause this video later when you are watching a replay. For now, I'm going to go ahead. Just gently come back to the room. Softening your gaze. Maybe even touching your face, rubbing your eyes, stretching a little bit. You know what you just did? You brought your attention to the spot that you were avoiding for so long. You brought your attention and permission to be to the part that you were avoiding for so long. And that alone, how long did it take? 2-3 minutes? That alone is allowing the energy to move. Our resistance to feel is what creates the problems.
Yep. What you resist, it persists. That's my favorite saying.
I know, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, Sarah wrote that she can hear us, so at least we have this. And if you have any questions,
Sarah.
yes, so I can see that. If you have any questions, ladies, please post. You can always post also those who watching replay later on. And Monika is in the group, so if you tag her, she will respond definitely. Thank you, Monika, for this practice. How did you feel? If you want to tell us, how did it make you feel? And remember that remaining little anxiety, even if that's because sometimes it's not possible to release everything. This is what we are saying, right? Bypassing, trying to push everything away. Maybe sometimes it just wants to linger for a little. Give yourself space, maybe repeat a few minutes later, maybe next day, maybe keep repeating every morning before going to work, right? Until you feel a little safer. So if you want to tell us how you feel, that would be awesome. Of course, you don't need to. That's totally fine. You can leave it for yourself. We honor that. So yeah, it was a lot we covered. I know there could be way more we could talk about. But right now, I wanted to ask you, Monika, to tell us where people can find you. And I posted all information for people in the event page, but I'm going to repost it again, where they can find you, if they are interested to booking the session with you, where they can do that as well. Let us know.
Thank you so much for this platform and letting me invite your viewers to work with me. So my business name is Always the Heart. Always the Heart, like the heart that we have in our chest, because that's what I found is actually leading each and every session. Remember that I do not heal people. I facilitate a space for you to heal yourself. So alwaystheheart.com is my website. That's my central hub. From there, you can find my links for on Instagram, YouTube, and here on Facebook. And I also have a group where I am discussing the psychosomatic root causes of different problems and ailments. What does it mean when this hurts? What does it mean when that is inflamed, right? So we can gain a little bit knowledge so we are more open to this self-healing journey. And I will be here occasionally here with Izabela, continuing probably these talks where if you are interested, ladies in the group, if you have more questions, because I am teaching this technique, I am showing you how to do that. There's so much more to it than what we discussed today. But simply because of time limits, we cannot cover all of that. And I know because Izabela is my graduate of my program, my ex-student, she is now practicing this modality herself. So you can either work with me, you can work with Izabela, and if you yourself want to learn how to heal yourself and help others in your life, maybe you're a coach or holistic practitioner that is missing that emotional and body component, that psychosomatic component in your approach, and then the class is for you. This soonest class that is going to be available to you is this weekend, August 8th and 9th, and then I'm running one more in October before the holiday craziness starts. So let me know in the comments down below what questions you may have, how can we help, and what your experience is like. And if you would like yourself to get a copy of Metaphysical Anatomy and read some of that yourself, Amazon, this is where you can get the book. I do not have affiliate links, so everything you pay, no profit goes to me. Okay?
I have Sarah here pointing, writing. So I will read her comment and we'll see if we can comment a little bit on it. Maybe I missed what you said about psychosomatic illnesses. I have had many illnesses. They come and go. Real pain, but no medical reason for the pain. Not necessarily anxiety, but not in pain right now. But weird things occur. So I'm not sure, Sarah, would you like us to help you? I don't know, Monika, do you want to comment somehow in this? There are questions, so I'm not sure if you, Sarah, are looking for some specific answer to something.
All illness is psychosomatic. They all can be traced down to the emotional trauma that hasn't been completed. And why some pains come and go is because we are so good at suppressing the experience. And many times what I am hearing here, what I'm hearing from my clients, is that the pain starts to surface when we actually feel good. We have a moment of feeling all right, we have a moment of feeling neutral, and then anxiety or pain, in this case, is going to surface. Why? Because body wants to complete that trauma. And pain in different parts of the body means different things. But in general, what is at the root of pain is suppressed anger. And when we have anger, we have feelings of powerlessness, hopelessness, injustice, invasion. And they simply have not been worked through. They have been pushed away because they're too uncomfortable, or maybe we did not have resources to deal with them. So let's say that you have pain in your shoulders, right? This is the responsibilities, the cross that we have to carry. Maybe you have pain in your jaw. This is telling us that there is some anger about things we wanted to say but didn't have an ability to say. Our teeth, let's say we have toothache, maybe with some kind of inflammation. Teeth are about receiving support. And they're especially from the times when we were receiving food at the beginning from our mom, being breastfed, or even in the womb. Pain in your ankles, maybe you have swollen ankles all the time. Ankles are about having a rigid mother or mother figure, or maybe you are so rigid about your feminine side. Guys and women, that we both have feminine sides. Stomach itself is representing mother or the past. Skin is our boundaries. Our hips is making decisions and moving forward after we make a decision about going somewhere in our life, going after our goals, after our values, things that we want in our life. I'm seeing some comments coming up. Can you quickly read, Izabela?
Yes, I will read again, but Sarah right now said they get completed or emotions get worked through by causing a pain. That's question mark. So they get completed or emotions get worked through by causing a pain. Oh, so the question is, that's the one question. And the body is saying, take off this emotional issue. That's also a question.
Unresolved issue will surface as physical problems. And as I said earlier, whatever is causing some kind of anger doesn't have to be now. It can be something that happened 2-3 years ago. And now the circumstance in your life is reminding you of that time. I see it all the time with headaches. Headaches are representative of this sensation of, I don't want to, but I have to. Doing something because we do not see why, doing things continuously that we really don't enjoy. Why people get headaches when they are supposed to go to work, right? Or maybe on the weekend when you finally have time to rest, but there's this chores that you have to complete and you really want to rest. So being so hard and harsh with oneself and judging ourselves for wanting to do something else that is like almost given to us, you have to complete this task. And what is happening is that in the past, there was a situation that caused one to believe those things and to feel it. And now the circumstance might be completely unrelated, but this is about how it makes you feel. So for your questions specifically, Sarah, I would need to know where the pain is, or maybe you have been diagnosed or doctors were going towards, because it's difficult to diagnose because of bureaucracy, fibromyalgia, or maybe there is a pain is caused by an ailment in the body. Let's say we have sensitivity to foods, it can cause pain in joints. So yeah, I would need to know a little bit more about the pain to give you a more concrete answer. But just in general, emotions that are not acknowledged, felt, and given space to move through the body, when they are stuck in the body, they're going to start causing physical discomfort, many times pain. Sometimes it might be inflammation. Sometimes it might be problems with circulation, assimilation, digestion, or elimination, like getting rid of toxins.
Yeah, I think that responds to her question, at least partially. What I could add, Sarah, another thing you mentioned, body is body saying take off these emotional issues. I would say that the pain, the illness, once it shows up, that symptom, it's actually telling you to not take away the emotions, but to address those emotions, to look into those causes, psychosomatic causes of that illness. So illness will be a physical symptom, possibly, right? So then during the MAT session, you are diving deeper to find actual emotions, potential instincts wired together, and maybe then address those emotions. So it's not really about getting rid of the emotional. So that's the first thing. Second thing, emotions get worked through by causing a pain. So when you're working through this illness, let's say symptom, what can happen, I think Monika had that experience more often than me, it can be that you will feel release in the symptom, But you may also feel, I don't know, Monika, you can correct me if that's not right. You may feel that the symptom actually spikes up and releases later on after the MAT session, once those emotions were already addressed.
May I give you an example, like specific example?
Okay, she has example. At this point, one foot is swelling and no tests indicate what is wrong.
Okay,
We have
so depending on whether it's left or right foot, it also has a meaning. But in general, feet are about moving forward in life with joy, or moving away from something that is causing you a great deal of pain. So if there is a person, situation, or things in your life that is making you feel like your boundaries are being crossed, your territory is being infringed upon, and you, figuratively speaking, would like to move away from that situation towards things that are more aligned with your desires, the pain in the foot is going to show you the anger about remember what I was talking about, what is under anger? Feeling powerless. I can't change the situation. I'm not saying that this is your case, Sarah, but what I would say here, think about a woman that wants to move away from, get a divorce from a husband that is even financially or emotionally abusive, or just plainly not there anymore, right? Not invested in it. And the person wants to move. The anger is about feeling powerless to move because my values tell me so, and I cannot, because I took vows, because I feel so vulnerable, because all of my financial support is coming from that person that is not causing me so much pain. You see how much anger it could cause? I had a chronic hip pain for years. Nothing helped. Chiropractic care, anti-inflammatory diet, weekly massages, baths, nothing helped. It was always there. I had a session on it. I found out that it was about literally being stuck in a decision about leaving a relationship that I was in and feeling unfulfilled. And that sometimes relationships will not work no matter how much work you put in it. It takes two to tango. And I felt angry that I have desires about going towards things I wanted, developing my business. And what I felt at that moment is I have to be housewife. I have to support my husband by providing everything while he is growing his business, right? So that anger in my hip was at the feminine side, the left side. And after the session, it went away to maybe a 0.5 on a scale from 1 to 10, right? And that 0.1 would, guess what it was? It was actually making the decision to go after the things that I was thinking about 7, 8 years ago. And the moment I made that decision, it was something about business. My body, poof, I had nothing to do. Within a second, it shifted. And then for 2 days, I have sore glutes holding the hips together because they were so tight with anger around that area. So the pain went away, but there has to be an action taken, right? We have to be in alignment with what comes through that healing. Right foot. The right foot is
the right foot. So it's masculine, right?
It's about making decision, moving forward, being a provider, and the structure and support in life. So to read more of that, one, when did the pain you first became aware of it? What was going on in your life at the time, or maybe even up to a year leading to when the pain started? And if you ask that foot, that swelling, that pain, if it had a voice, an ability to act, would it kick someone? Would it stomp the feet with, now it's my time, I deserve to be on the spotlight. I'm not going to be behind someone, always in a supportive role, right? So maybe there is a little bit of anger there. Maybe that foot feels that it's being almost like held in one place when it wants to move. Being very playful and pretending that the foot can talk to you, right? So the emotions that we feel at the moment of the ailment surfacing are many times the ones that need addressing.
Yeah. She said, wow, amazing about your hip story. And then she mentioned that the quarantine started and I had to leave my job and stay home. So make some decision, leave something behind is what you were
Yes, exactly. And remember the right side being a provider, action taker, opposite to feminine, which is the receptive one, which is the creative, artistic, emotional, spiritual. The right one is very logical, is very action oriented. It's the representation of masculine qualities. She lost her job. She is no longer able to provide for herself the way she was. And also feeling the sense of injustice about this situation. What did this person do to deserve this? Someone else made the decision for her. And the moment I said injustice, I felt a shift. So I'm feeling some kind of injustice in that foot about your ability to provide for yourself, provide for others, and feeling that you were in charge maybe at work, but now you feel out of control. Someone else is controlling you, right? And if explore if there maybe is an emotion of feeling injustice about this situation, injustice, powerlessness.
Yeah, it is amazing. Even now, you, Sarah, can see it's amazing how once you start peeling off those layers, how you can dive into actual psychosomatic root of something that has no medical diagnosis. And medicine has really cannot really diagnose everything.
Yes.
And it's amazing how once we start diving into that and resolving those issues, you would never connect probably those two, but now they are connected and you resolve one issue. Maybe finding peace with the situation would be the first one to start with, right? Finding maybe some hobby or finding, I don't know. I'm just coming up logical. My ego is bringing up some solutions which I cannot come up with because those are mine, right? But your body would find those out and tell you, right, how to proceed eventually too after the healing. Yeah.
Give the foot a voice. And if you have space at home to be a little weird and talk almost like a foot is talking, give it a voice and let it talk. I am angry that this happened. This is so, and there's so much injustice behind this. How they could do this to me, and voice it out, because we are not allowed to say these things because you are a grown woman. Contain yourself, right? Like there's no outside support to really support how you feel and validate that. Yeah. Can you read the comment? It's very interesting.
She said, yes, my job was my baby, an adult education program that I developed, and it blossomed. And then slam bam, March came and it shut down. You are making good sense to me. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Give your foot a voice and see what happens when you let it talk. And if you have to lock yourself in a room or in a bathroom and even cover your mouth temporarily with something soft, just scream it out. They don't have to be words. If your foot could make sounds, what it would make? Would it grunt? Would it yell? Would it squeal? Right? Especially in the moment when it's swollen, aggrieved, angry, irritated. What would the foot do? Would it go, or would it go, I can't, or, I'm angry?
Literally personalize it, give it voice, and give it time to speak up first before finding solution, because you never know. Once you release that, solutions may come up. Maybe you are meant to create a new baby. As a
or maybe take it online as we are taking it here. And if I can give you just one last tip, depending on how your relationship is with the divine, the universe, God, life source, know that you are not alone and that you can always ask for support there in the form of people, situation, books, podcasts, just messages coming through, written or heard, that are going to give you the inspiration of how to take it to a place that is going to be available no matter the conditions, and asking for support. Those forces that you, in your personal worldview, believe in, if you do.
Yeah, I just wanted to make you, Sarah, feel better even. She came to this group last week, and she told me, answer to questions, that someone mentioned that group at another group, which I don't think I'm part of, and she just joined. Yes, I found this time with you. Yeah. And then, yeah, maybe you were just meant to be on this live video, and we will be really, I think, with Monika, we will be doing more, maybe videos, maybe more specific, maybe talking about particular illness, symptom, ailments, alignment.
Ailments. I can never pronounce it. It's the thing for you. English is not your language, right?
Yeah. You can always reach out to us, as I said, or Monika is open for sessions. I might be open for sessions later in the August, starting September for sure. So that's something to also, But then in the meantime, listening and to either what Monika is giving in the free Facebook pages and see how that. I do believe that I was meant to listen to you. Yep. I hope our accents were fun.
They're always fun.
Yes. I think with this we will be. Yes, thank you so much. Of course, Sarah. Thank you for being here and spending with us almost 1 hour and a half. Okay, I think we'll finish with this, little silly joke about our accents. And thank you so much, Monika, for being here. Thank you, of course, Sarah, for being here too. And for this amazing chat. That was really delicious and amazing. And yeah, we will be in chat. What is her Facebook group name? I will post all names here right now. So you just give me 5-10 minutes after we finish, and I will give all the information. You can, even Monika may post also in a minute. She has like 2 or 3 of them, business and Facebook group. So you can check out whichever works for you. All right, so let's finish. Thank you so much. You have a all wonderful rest of your evening and night. And Monika, one more time, thank you. And I hope to see you again in our space in some time. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so very much, Sarah said. Okay.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.